Hi friends, today we are going to talk about lesson 6-5, which is multiplying a decimal by a whole number. So now that you have learned how to multiply decimal by just the number 10, 100, or 1000, we are going to expand on that knowledge today by multiplying a decimal by a whole number. So there are some steps that we take when we are solving these problems, and I'm going to walk you through them one by one, and we'll do some practice together. But this is actually the same as when we learned how to multiply a couple of topics ago. The only difference is that I have a decimal in one of my factors. So let's go ahead and look at our first one. We have 9 8/10 times 2. So go ahead and write that on your whiteboard so that you can follow these steps along with me. So when I'm looking at what I would need to do in this problem, is I would rewrite my decimal as a whole number first. So I basically forget about the decimal. I pretend like it's not even there. So I'm going to rewrite 9 8/10 to be 98. Pretty simple. My next step is to multiply. So let's go ahead and multiply 98 times 2. So I know that 8 times 2 is 16. I'm going to drop my 6, carry my 1, and I know that 9 times 2 is 18, plus 1 is 19. So my answer would be 196. But I know that's not the real answer because I know that in my original problem, it did not say 98. It said 9 8/10. So my last step is I need to go ahead and put the decimal back in my answer. And in order to do that, I have to look back at my original problem. So I'm going to look back up at right up here. And I'm going to see how many digits were after the decimal in my original factors. So 2, no decimal, nothing to worry about. 9 8/10 has one number after the decimal. That means that in my answer of 196, I need one number after my decimal in my answer. So my answer would actually be 19.6 or 19 6/10. Kind of crazy that that's all I have to do. I basically forget that the decimal's there and then add it back in at the end. Let's do some more together. Okay, here we go. Let's start with 67 hundredths times 8. So my first step is I need to rewrite 67 hundredths to be a whole number. So I'm basically going to forget about that 0, and I'm just going to make it 67. So let's take 67 times 8. So I know that 7 times 8 is 56. So I'm going to drop my 6, carry my 5. Now I'm going to take 8 times 6, which is 48. And I'm going to add 5. So 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. Now, my last step is I need to figure out where my decimal is going to go. So I'm going to look back at my original numbers and see how many numbers were after the decimal. So I've got 1, 2. That means I need 2 numbers after my decimal in my answer. So my answer should be 5 36 hundredths. Let's do the last one together. We have 45 times 3 hundredths. So step 1, I rewrite these numbers so they don't look like decimals. So 45 looks good, but I need to make that 3 hundredths just a 3 because I don't want to deal with those other zeros. So I'm going to take 45 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. Drop my 5, carry my 1. 4 times 3 is 12. Plus 1 is 13. And last but not least, I need to figure out where my decimal is going to go. So looking back at my original factors, it looks like I have 2 digits after the decimal in 3 hundredths. So I need 2 digits after the decimal in my answer. And my answer should be 1 and 35 hundredths. So that's it, friends. We basically just ignore those decimals and put them back in at the end. So it's going to be easy peasy for you guys today, I can tell.